Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen. And you know, just cause you're stuck at that desk in the office doesn't mean that you don't deserve a good home-cooked meal. So that's what today's show is all about. Today I want to share some yummy recipes with you, like my curried chicken salad and a corn, avocado, and tomato salad that I promise you just gets better. How about a delicious steamy bowl of BLT soup? And for dessert, a brown sugar chewy that you're gonna just love. So today, y'all stick with me because we're gonna make lunch work for you. Reminds me so much of the Bag Lady days, and I think you're gonna just love these recipes as much as my customers did 16 years ago. Now I'm gonna be starting here with a bag of shoe peg corn. Now I've just thawed this out. I've just finished slicing my cherry tomatoes in half. I'm gonna dump those in with the corn. I'm gonna zest one lime. I'm gonna toss it in there. This is so quick and easy to make. Now I've got a purple onion that I've diced up fairly small. We're gonna throw that in there. This kind of reminds me of a Mexican dish. All right, now we're gonna just cut this in two. All right, we're just gonna render the juice out of this lime. All right, there goes the juice. And next is our avocado. I'm just gonna run the knife around the avocado until I cut completely around it. And then I'm gonna give it a twist. And now I'm just gonna come in here with my spoon and remove that avocado. Just like that. All right, I'm gonna pop the seed out of the other side and do the same thing. When I was running the Bag Lady, I used to make an avocado chicken salad. It was so good. All right, now I'm just gonna dice this avocado up. Just coarsely dice it. Throw it over in there. All right, now let's get over here and let's make the dressing to the salad, which is very, very simple. We're gonna use just a little bit of olive oil and some nice chopped fresh cilantro, some salt and pepper. I'm so proud of my little niece. She's a beautiful young woman, and she's getting very good in the kitchen, which just thrills me to pieces. I told her, I said, you're gonna be like your Annie if you're not careful. All right, now I'm just gonna toss these together. Look how beautiful this salad is, and so, so simple. But it has got a flavor that you just won't believe. But to just dress it up for y'all today, I'm gonna pile it up in this taco shell that I made earlier. And I'm gonna show you how to make that taco shell. And the avocado is just, I'm so glad Kari taught me this one. It's out of this world. The lime juice is just makes your mouth say, wow. So good. Well, let's move on down here to this chicken. I have a roasted off chicken here. And I'm just gonna remove the skin and just take the meat off the bone. After I get this chicken picked, we're gonna make just a curried chicken salad. So you'll just wanna debone, devein, deskin your chicken. All right, I'm gonna add a half a cup of celery that's been diced. And then I'm gonna add, I love this ingredient, I'm gonna add a can of diced water chestnuts. It's gonna give it a crunch. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna cut these beautiful red grapes in half and toss them in. And when we come back, we're gonna be ready to finish this chicken salad, and I'm gonna make a fabulous BLT soup for you. You're not gonna believe how good it is. Bacon and lettuce and tomato soup. Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome back. All right, I've finished up with our grapes. Now I'm gonna quickly put this chicken salad together. I've got slivered almonds, and so I'm gonna put a half a cup of those in. All right, now I'm gonna mix up our dressing real quick. Got a cup of mayonnaise. It's about to get like the butter, isn't it, y'all? All right, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of just a store-bought chutney. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of soy sauce, 1.5 teaspoons of curry powder, and it's strong. All right, and I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice to give that a little kick. All right, there we go. And I'm just gonna blend that together. There is no telling how many different kinds of chicken salad I have made. I know I used to make a chicken and rice salad that you ate cold, and I love that one, and I would put curry in that. But this one has the grapes instead, the fruit. And a lot of women like a chicken salad with the fruit in it. It's filling and just makes it a nice balanced lunch. So we're just gonna toss that in our curry mayonnaise. I've got some wonderful butter lettuce that's just, it goes down like butter. It's just so easy to eat. I just love it. Okay, but before I plate our chicken salad, I want to come over here, move right over here, and start the pot for our BLT soup. Now I've got a half a cup of diced bacon. And I'm going to throw this in here and just let it start browning. All right, we're going to let that brown and let all that pork fat come out of there. And then while that's browning, I'm going to just pile up our chicken salad in that wonderful lettuce. Look at that, doesn't it look good? It's real enticing. Curried mayonnaise is wonderful, but what makes this dish is those grapes and those crunchy almonds. It's so, so good. All right, now our bacon is browning, and you can see the fat coming out of the bacon. So y'all forgive me when you see me do this. But I'm gonna add just a couple of tablespoons of butter, just to make sure our soup is nice and rich. All right, now I'm gonna add a half a cup of chopped green onions or scallions, whatever you call them. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a half a cup of self-blending flour. Now, when I say self-blending flour, that's not like the flour that you would use to make biscuits or cakes with. And it's an extra fine flour. I don't know if you can see how fine it is on my finger. And this flour will not lump on you like a regular flour will. All right, so I'm going to add 3 cups of shredded lettuce. All right, now we're going to add our flour. And remember, the name of this is instant blending flour. That's what you would want to look for in your grocery store. Toss that over our ingredients. And in this other pot, I've got 3½ cups of chicken stock that's boiling. And now we're just going to take this. In fact, I'm going to get a rag and move this pot closer to me. And I'm just going to add the chicken stock. All right, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add 1/8 teaspoon of grated nutmeg. That's not enough to say, oh my goodness, I taste nutmeg, but it's just enough to give it a nice little underlying flavor. And I'm going to add about 1/8 teaspoon of red pepper flakes just to give it a little kick. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of diced fresh tomatoes. So there you have it. BLT soup. Look how good that looks. All right, I've got 1 more ingredient. And when we come back, I'm going to show you what that ingredient is. We're going to make some brown sugar chewies. It's going to be the sweetest finish to this working lunch. So y'all stick around. One last ingredient to add to our soup, and that's some heavy cream, because you can see that flour made it nice and thick. Now, if you don't want the cream, you could always use a chicken broth. So you can put this in the crock pot now, let it stay on warm until everybody's home and ready to eat. Now, I'm going to ladle some of this up. We've got the B, we got the L, and we've even got the T. But what do you eat on a BLT? Mayonnaise is right. So I've got some mayonnaise here, and I've got some sour cream, just to cut the richness of that mayonnaise. I'm going to blend a little sour cream in it and garnish my soup with that. A few green onions. And then, of course, the last thing is just a little bacon. And look how delicious that looks. You're going to be surprised and amazed when you taste that soup and find out how delicious BLT soup is. All right, now we've got to have a happy, sweet ending to our working lunches, and it's called a brown sugar chewy. And I think it almost might be dietetic because I'm only using 1/2 stick of butter. All right, I'm going to let that melt. I'm going to add 1 cup of packed brown sugar, and I'm using a light brown sugar. And I'm going to beat up an egg. And take that off of our heat. And I'm just going to let that butter and let that brown sugar melt along with it. All right, while that's continuing to melt, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour and a teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm just gonna mix these up together. All right. I'm gonna add 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup of chopped pecans. I'm gonna throw my vanilla in there. All right, so I'm just gonna dump these dry ingredients in with our melted butter and our brown sugar. And I'm just gonna stir this until it melts. And I'm gonna be baking this in an 8x8 glass dish. Love the smell of this. It almost smells like butterscotch. All right, now I have lined my baking dish with parchment paper. And I'm gonna give this a quick spray because this is kind of a gooey batter. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. We're gonna bake this for about 20 to 25 minutes. If you don't bake it long enough, it'll kind of fall on you. And if it needs an extra 5 minutes, then do that. This recipe is real easy to double. And if you doubled it, you'd want to cook it in like a 13 by 9 by 2 pan. But I didn't double it today, but I do have another pan ready in this other oven. Look at that. Don't they look good? All right, now I'm going to slice them up, and I'm going to make pretty good sized slices. And they're going to come out of our pan so nice. This is going to make 9 servings. This is kind of hot, so normally I would let this cool a little bit. That one goes right over there for Paula. All right, I'm just going to put these over here on the platter. Dust it with a little powdered sugar or a lot of powdered sugar. I've got some ice cream here in the freezer. Any kind of ice cream would be good with this. A coffee ice cream would be good, a vanilla ice cream, but I just happen to have some homemade butter pecan ice cream in the freezer that's gonna be just delicious with our squares. Almost looks like I put butter in my ice cream, doesn't it? I didn't put butter in my ice cream. Michael tells folks that I even put butter and mayonnaise on my Frosted Flakes. And that's a lie. Doesn't that look perfectly yummy? The butter pecan is perfect with that chewy. And I love my stuff like this warm. Oh, it's out of this world delicious. I'm gonna clean up, literally. And when we come back, I'm gonna show you how to make those taco shells, your serving bowl for that salad we made. So I'll see y'all back in a minute. Now here's a great tip, how to make that edible taco shell. You can use any size tortilla shell that you want. So I'm gonna lay that down in our grease, and I'm gonna push the center of that down with the big ladle. See how simple and easy that is? So in no time at all, you've got the perfect shell for that avocado and corn salad. It's a little messy, y'all, but it's worth the effort. They're out of this world, and you can't get any fresher. I want to thank y'all for being with me today and hanging out in the kitchen with me and listening to me and allowing me to reminisce about the bag lady days. And the BLT soup is so good. And the avocado and corn salad. And the curried chicken salad. And of course, those brown sugar chewies are just over the top. So, you know, maybe you don't work anymore. Maybe you don't have to work. Whatever the case, don't short yourself. I think you'll love any of these recipes anytime. So until next time, America, I want to send y'all best dishes and love from my kitchen to yours.